Welcome to the Sci-Fi Guys. I'm your host, Dave, and with me is John and Chad. Today, oh boy, today we watched the movie Space Invaders. Definitely a B movie from a while back, but we'll discuss it. Let's put it that way. How about that? We'll discuss it some. Chad is the one that picked this movie out for us because he's like, hey, let's pick out a B movie. We haven't had one in a while. And I'm like, let's do it. So let's start out with. All right, questions. Chad, you're on.
So we all see the beginning of the movie. What do you think that battle cruiser looked like?
I was torn. It kind of looked like an aloe vera plant. It kind of looked like a long cactus. But it kind of looked like Sequest DSV. Especially the tail. It kind of reminded me of that, of Sequest. So, how about you, John? What do you think?
For me, genuinely, as a photographer, it reminded me of like the little crinkle tripods that you can kind of put anywhere, especially the way it kind of bubble. That's where my brain went. I assume, Chad, you had a vision in mind with that question, though.
No,
You just wondered what it looked like. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. Then it was a tripod.
No vision behind it. It was just like, and all the shapes and all the stuff. They decided to look like a little. Oh, here's a bubble, small bubble, little beads.
Hey, and it tapered. It was tapered at the front, and then it tapered at the back. So I mean, it looked like almost like a. No, it looked like a churro. That's what it looked. Yes, it was a flying churro. I was like, it was something that I've eaten, and I was just like, what was it? Yes, it was a churro. That's mine. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah,
we'll allow it.
So we all talked about AI. Man, we're not talking about. I'm not dead beating this, but this is a robot AI forcing stuff on the aliens to do stuff. Hey, I'm tired of this. The leadership of the planet is tired of the aliens not doing their fullest to the most, so they pull the Russian move. Hey, you go keep marching forward, or else I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna zap you. So y'all, what do y'all think about the roles reversed to the aliens by doing that?
As in, let me make sure I understand the question. You're asking, as in, instead of them being on us as humans, we're actually seeing it from their perspective, as they have a sentient AI that's making sure they're doing what they need to do as aliens. Okay. I kind of liked it. That was one of the few parts of the show I actually enjoyed. I thought it was pretty clever the way they, how it kind of just sat in the inside of their ship, kind of in the top, and is able to see everything and know what's going on. It obviously had flaws because it listened to them. If it was true programming and true AI, it would have just wiped them out the moment things went awry. But actually seeing it from the different perspective, I kind of liked it. I was like, oh, okay, I get why so many people do it against humans, having an AI, lord over us. And I get it. John, how about you?
I definitely think it added a nice little second layer. I mean, this is overall, I think, a more comedic film on purpose, but it still added a nice second layer to the story of giving the aliens a reason to want to leave while also attack. I don't know, it just gave them a good secondary incentive that I think added to the story. Even though they technically didn't listen to it and there were consequences to that, / also not as soon as I thought there would be. I don't know, but I enjoyed the AI. It was very intimidating, especially considering the rest of the film.
Yeah.
See, at first when you put that, I thought you were talking about that little robot, and I was just like, no, that's not really. When you described it a little bit more, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes more sense because what did they call those things? Protectors or something?
Protectors or something.
Yeah,
The Forcer droids.
we are the protective
Force.
droids to make sure that they are doing things right.
But you gotta think at the end of the movie, the girl's like, "Hey, the ship's about to blow up the whole planet. Can let's get this off the ship." Yeah, the protector droid. All right, we can do that. But once we reach out of once you get that past Earth, I'm destroying them.
Yeah. Now, if it wouldn't have said anything, well,
Yeah, like the thing was still been there.
yeah, they're still sitting there. Hello.
So that was I'm like, catch-22. Hey, here's this. Hey, here's a celebratory candle for you.
Yeah, yeah. There were some very comedic scenes in this movie, which I'm sure we'll talk about when we have our
Yeah.
ratings. So yeah, go on with your next question.
So in today's time, like say, a TV station, radio station plays the World of Worlds, Orson Welles original reading, and this attracts alien invaders to come down to Earth. So what would y'all do if this was you in this movie?
I mean, I don't think I would react all that differently than the farmer who was out for a quick gash grab with with taking photos of him. I think I'd be right up that alley. Now, in terms of the whole radio playing of War of the Worlds, bringing it on, I mean, I would just find a lot of irony in that. I don't know that that part would necessarily freak me out. Um, and honestly, at this point, with a lot of we have going in the world, I'm not overtly surprised by a whole lot of things, shockingly. And so if aliens show up, man, I'm just here for it. If they're close enough to me that I can make money off of it, I'll take it. I'll take that opportunity and become viral. I'm okay with that.
For me, I'm actually I think the opposite of what John was. Yeah, I would go ahead and get some video, get some shots. But with today's age, I mean, you could tell Google or um, Siri or something like that to actually design an AI little mini movie, and put it out there, and people will be like, yeah, okay, whatever. The first thing I'm going to do is just protect my family. That's all I
Yeah.
care about. Making sure my family is taken care of. I'm not going to be like discount Hulk Hogan, who was just sitting there, just round after round shooting his shotgun into the outside of the ship. But I mean, I would be like, okay, you get close to me, I'm going to take you out. But other than that, let me follow that up. Okay, if let's just say it did happen, who in the heck would you call? I mean, you call the cops.
Ghostbusters.
No, obviously not Ghostbusters. I was waiting for that. But I mean, seriously, I'd like to speak with Area 51. There's aliens coming that landed in my backyard. Okay, we got the local psycho ward coming to your house. I mean,
I have enough friends that could hold down a fort during a zombie apocalypse. To put it in simple terms, I'm just calling one of them, letting them handle that side. I mean, I'd be all right.
no,
And I mean,
be
like,
posting
could hold
videos
down
and putting them on Twitter
actual forts.
and Facebook and YouTube saying, "Hey, look, there's aliens, and this is not,
Yeah, I
this
would
is
just give them a
real."
split of the money, and they would be the protector, and I would just be living life.
Think about
Okay.
think about Will Smith, Independence
Because I'm
Day.
not calling the government. I'm not trusting the government to handle this appropriately. We've seen how that doesn't work out in almost every sci-fi film we've watched. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not trusting them with that process. No. Now, when they show up at the end of it, I'll just back up and go on, take the money and run. And yeah, I'm right.
Okay, Chad, what about you? What would you do?
I'll be calling somebody just like John, but be like Will Smith, dragging it along, beating Independence Day. Remember?
Well, yeah, but I mean, at least Independence Day, they actually drove up to Area 51,
Yeah,
which is where they were doing that.
dragging the Moody.
They could care less. I just don't see it happening. I just
No.
don't. For those of you out there that are not in Valdosta area, Moody is Moody Air Force Base in Valdosta, Georgia. That's where we're all at, is Valdosta. So, you know, we have the home of the Flying Tigers. They get a bunch of A-10s and combat search and rescue. You know, good stuff. But
Yeah,
I don't think they would handle any of this.
They have the fun planes with the big,
Yeah.
the fun guns.
Yeah, the ones that just it sounds like they're burping as they're flying along, you know, because of how they shoot. Okay, your next question.
So last question, unless we got random questions coming up. How many movie references did you hear in this movie, and what movie were they from?
Okay, I'm taking some stretches here, as well as some liberties, as well as ones I actually heard. So starting with the simplest, I'm taking Zorro off the plate. Definitely heard Zorro. That was a very clear reference. I said Howard the Duck because the little duck boy, it seemed like that was an intentional jibe towards that side of
Could be,
sci-fi
yeah.
history. Take the extra obvious, even more obvious than Zorro off the table, War of the Worlds, of course. It was clearly there. Home on the Range from Home on the Range, which I think came out after this film, but still, the song clearly there as well. And then I said you could probably make some loose connections to E.T., Star Wars with the little droid going around. And then the costume the little girl was in, was that Alien?
Alien, yeah, that was going to be one of mine.
I thought it was. I wasn't confident because it was a little off from that idea I had in my head. But yeah.
That was one I was going to say. The only thing I would add to it is I definitely heard "There's No Place Like Home" from The Wizard of Oz.
Right.
And actually, when they are running to their ship, there's actually, if you listen, they had the Star Trek from the original series theme going on in the background when they were running to it. Yeah. That's the only ones I saw. You know?
This movie is like, you go back and watch it, you might find more. But the thing is, it's so rich and hey, there's no place like home. There's no place like
I think they just tried too hard. But
yeah.
We'll get to that. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm not really sure if there's any of these, but we'll go ahead and do this.
Not sure if there's any of these, Dave.
The whole movie was a plot hole. Okay.
I had two, and they're blanking now.
Oh, you had two? I was gonna
Yeah, I
say
did.
the only thing I saw that was really goofy, and I wrote it down. What did I do? Oh yeah, in the opening scene when Discount Fall Guy, Sheriff Huxley is getting his drink. If you look at the windows, you'll see palm trees reflecting in the windows. That's the only thing I saw. I was like, well, let's see. Didn't they say they were in Ohio? I don't think there's palm trees in Ohio.
Was it in Ohio or was it in
I thought
Illinois.
it was like Ohio, Illinois, or something.
Yeah.
it was some
It was the
Midwestern state. Or Oklahoma, maybe. I don't remember.
They get, hey, try a new off ramp.
Yeah, oh yeah, I got the new off ramp. Yeah. Yeah, it just, to me, the whole movie was just one big kind of, really? Aliens are going to come here and then they're going to be, I think the girl had the best line. Dad, they're just stupid.
They don't know what they're doing.
That's very accurate.
They don't know what they're doing, And of course, the one
maybe...
trying to be, and we saw Mars Attacks a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the one who's trying his darndest to have a Jack Nicholson, he's trying his darndest to imitate Jack Nicholson like the whole time. And I'm like, really? I guess if we didn't see Mars Attacks so recently, I might not have been so hard on it. Did you guys see any other plot holes? If not, we'll go on.
My major two. Number one, why did they go against directive? However, I understand the silliness of the film. Number two, why did they not understand their own technology? Like, they have these super powerful weapons that can end whole planets, and they just don't know how it works. Like, You think that would be a directive?
Yeah, you think
A
as a team they
lesson?
would have practiced something, even though they all were bumbling idiots and they were obviously uh, checking out an asteroid field for a reason because they had nothing better for them to do, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
just
so
glad these ones talk. I was glad not to hear.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, at least that way you had a dialogue and you
yeah,
kind of knew what was going on. Tad, did you see any plot holes in this, or
just like okay, you get that one thing that oh, here's the thing that we can find the ship come to us. Click.
yeah, was that device not the goofiest thing that he was
Yeah.
talking into? It reminded me of the toys that I had where you blow into it and then it goes.
Yep.
It's like I'm like, this is definitely low budget.
All the tech out there, you could have found something
You couldn't find
more
something just better than
better.
that. Yeah. Okay, let's go to our next part. Okay. How are we going to fix or improve this movie? I think we could probably do it as a combination here because
Yeah.
I have no idea. To me, all right, here's my fix. Don't make the movie. I mean, honestly, if you haven't figured out by now, my rating is not going to be very well for these
Nah.
guys. I did not care for this movie. I was joking with my wife. I walked down the stairs after watching it. She's like, "So how was the movie?" I said, "I'm dumber now by watching this." So, but no, there's only one line in the entire movie that would have fixed everything. When they're saying, it's just the five of us, and we're going to go against, nuclear weapons. We're going to go against, you know, nuclear submarines and fighters and bombers. And when they said, "Oh, and John Wayne," okay, get rid of John Wayne. All you have to do is say, "And they have Chuck Norris." Boom. I'd drop my mic if I could. All right, there you go. Game
Yeah.
over. I mean, because you guys know that, when Chuck Norris does push-ups, he doesn't push his body up. He pushes the world down, right?
This is true.
You
I mean,
Okay, but let's get some other ways to fix this movie.
my major fix. I think I would make this almost a classic like summertime flick. Give it a slightly less comedic vibe because I mean they hit the comedy, but they hit it hard. So I would say dial it back just a little bit, go on the slightly more serious side. Give it almost like a Stranger Things vibe with the children discovering the aliens, that sort of idea. So
Okay.
still an element of danger, but still able to have the comedy that they had without hitting it a little too hard. Give it a nice summer vibe as opposed to being on Halloween itself. And I think you got a much different film here.
Well, I think what they had to do with the Halloween so people wouldn't freak out when they saw them. They just thought they were kids in costumes. So
Yeah,
I
and
get
I
that.
get the part, but I still would change the story somehow to make it more of a summer flick. Maybe it's a special at an arcade, Space Invaders just dropped or something.
Yeah, the
Bring
video
that
game.
in, and then those are your costumed mascots that came in for the event. You could make it work.
Chad, how about you? You got any ideas?
I agree with Dave. They shouldn't have made this damn. Even though I remember watching this as a kid, it's like,
Okay, I've never seen this before, so
this is me just strolling it. Okay, this is all right. Let's see what the list is, and just it went down a rabbit hole, and I said, I'm already halfway through. I'm gonna finish it.
yeah. I mean, I guess the premise could have been okay if it wasn't. I think the acting was bad. The special effects were really bad, and I don't know. The script just. I think you said it best, John. They tried too hard when they did the comic. They just hit it way too hard.
Yeah,
If they would have just kind of made it a comedic movie, but not, I mean, not having the guy talk in Jack Nicholson's voice the whole time. I mean, just have him talking in a regular voice. And didn't wear the sunglasses the whole time. I mean, and again, what's with the outfits? Why were they wearing different? I mean, I get you wanted to know different ones for different ones, but they should have been in like uniforms or something. I mean, if you're on space patrol, you're not going to be wearing a bomber jacket or a high school. I mean, actually, I think he was wearing a high school
High school
leather jacket. Yeah. So I mean, again, things like that. That would have been easy fixes, and
Well, make it take less comedy, dial it back, put a little bit more serious note into it, and probably do more than one ship coming down. So just 5, make it 10. Although it's just all in different places. Like, hey, we got to go do this.
Yeah. Well, there was.
Oh,
I will say one good aspect from this was the little girl.
yeah.
Do you guys know what other movie she was in? Or let me phrase that: what other major movie she was in? Without looking it up, John. I see you over there looking at your phone.
No, not in top of my head.
She was the girl from Jurassic Park.
Oh,
when they had the the little girl and then the boy, she was the little girl, much older, but that was her. Her name was what? Kathy. Ariana Richards.
Yeah.
Thank you, IMDb. So yeah.
But another thing, we were talking at church, Dave. They should have done these aliens should replace these aliens with Mars attacks. Put these aliens for the Mars attack aliens.
Yeah, I mean that would have been. Yeah, although I'm with John, I like them at least speaking English, and then.
So that's what I mean. Like, put these in Mars attacks where they be speaking English. We know down like.
Yeah, then it would. I think it would have been. Maybe it would have been a little better, But the script was just so. Well, we're at that point, guys. We're going to do some ratings. Okay, we're going to rate this on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. No, you can't go below 0.
Shucks.
I said it says 0-5. Can I go -5? No. I'll start off. I'm giving this a 0. I did not. I will never watch this again. And I'm praying that we don't get to that point where we're like, hey, let's watch it again because it was our whatever episode and we want to do it again. No, I say 0. What about you, John?
This may seem high, however, there's reason. I give it a solid 1.5, a 1 for the comedy, and a 0.5 just for greater production value than Mars Attack. So that's where I land.
Okay. Chad, how about you?
Even though it's my movie, I do it a 0.5.
Hey, we all pick stinkers every so often. It happens. It's not, trust us. It happens.
No, like I said, the 0.5 is just for the comedy, but they went too hard, so that's why it's a 0.5.
Yeah. See, I kind of rate these on if I would watch the movie again. That's my biggest thing. Would I watch it again? And that's where I kind of rate, and then what's the likelihood of me watching it? That's kind of where I go on when I do my rating. All right, everyone. Our next sec. You guys can contact us. That's right. We'll put a little ticker on the bottom. You guys can contact us on Twitter at TheseSciFiGuys. You can email us, TheseSciFiGuys@gmail.com, or you can post a comment right here on YouTube. Post a comment and maybe say, hey, I like you guys. Hey, I don't like you guys. Or, hey, I'd really like for you guys to do this movie. Tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. All right. So with that, I got to click over to the other screen. There we go. Next movie. Oh, it's one I chose. And actually, it was not the one I originally chose, but I picked this for a couple reasons. One, I was invited to go on another podcast because I'm kind of the expert. I know this series a lot. So we are doing Stargate, the movie. We're not doing SG-1. We're not doing Stargate Atlantis or Universe or Origins or any of those. But we are doing the original movie with Kurt Russell and James Spader. With Stargate, the movie. You guys, I'm hoping I know Chad said he started it. And then when I said we're going to do it here, he was like, "Okay, I'll hold off." And I don't think, John, you've probably never seen it.
Not at all.
So I'm not going to tell you anything about it because I want you to watch it, and then we'll talk about it a lot more because there will be questions, and maybe some of my questions might be series. I have to think about something when I do the fixing and improving. That's not anything to do with the series because, or the books, because I've read the books, and some books are different, totally different than the series or than the movie and the series. So, and then of course we have comics that are even out there further. So we'll have fun with trying to figure that one out. But yeah, Stargate, that'll be up our next. Okay. Do we have anything else? Anything else coming on? We're good. John, any final thoughts? Nope. Chad, final thoughts? All right, until next time, everybody. Crash and burn.
Crash and burn.